Exercise 9b, question number 5 from this exercise. A car requires 22 liters of petrol to travel a distance of 259.6 kilometer. Find the distance that the car can travel on 63 liters of petrol. And then in the second part from this question, the amount that the car owner has to pay to travel a distance of 2013.2 kilometer if a liter of petrol costs $1.99. Now we have given in this question the distance 259.6 kilometer traveled on 22 liters of petrol. Now we have to find, if we have 63 liters of petrol, then we have to find the distance traveled by the car. While in the second part of this question, we have to find the amount that the car owner has to pay if he travels a distance of 2013.2 kilometer if a liter of petrol costs $1.99. So we will start from this initial information given in the question, which is distance traveled on 22 liters of petrol. We have given the distance 259.6 kilometer is the given distance traveled on 22 liters of petrol. Now first of all, we will find the distance traveled on 1 liter of petrol. This can be calculated by dividing this 259.6 kilometer by 22 liters of petrol. So 259.6 divided by 2, both numerator and denominator are the multiples of 2, which means we can divide these two quantities by 2. So if we divide this 259.6 by 2, we get the quotient 129.8. Same as if we divide this 22 by 2, then simply the quotient will be 11. Further, if we divide this 129.8 by 11, so we get the quotient 11.8 kilometer, which is the distance traveled on 1 liter of petrol. So we have calculated the distance traveled on 1 liter of petrol, which is 11.8 kilometer. Now we can easily find the distance traveled on 63 liters of petrol if we multiply this 11.8 by 63. So 11.8 multiplied by 63, the product we get is 743.4 kilometer, which means a car can travel 743.4 kilometer on 63 liters of petrol, which is the required question. Now second part from this question, we have to find the amount of petrol required to travel 2013.2 kilometer. Basically we will find the amount that the car owner has to pay to travel a distance of 2013.2 kilometer. But before this, first of all, we will find the amount of petrol required to travel 1 kilometer. So we will start from the given data in the question, amount of petrol required to travel 2013.2 kilometer. Now this can be calculated if we divide this 2013.2 kilometer by 11.8. Now what is 11.8? Distance traveled on 1 liter of petrol. So amount of petrol required to travel 2013.2 kilometer can be calculated if we divide this 2013.2 by 11.8. Now what is 11.8? Distance traveled on 1 liter of petrol. Since we have the same position of decimal at the numerator and denominator, you see at the numerator we have only 1 digit after the decimal point. Same as at the denominator place, we have 1 digit after the decimal point. So we can remove the decimal point without any changing. So the numbers will become 20132 divided by 118. After removing the decimal point, we have two whole numbers. Now both numerator and denominator are divisible by 2, so we will divide them by 2. We get the fraction 10066 divided by 59. Further, if we divide this numerator by denominator, we get the quotient 170.6 liters, which is the amount of petrol required to travel the distance 2013.2 kilometer. So if car travels 2013.2 kilometer distance, requires 160.6 liters of petrol. Now we can find the amount the car owner will pay to travel the distance 2013.2 kilometer. So simply, if we multiply this 170.6, which is the total amount of petrol required to travel this distance, multiplied by 1.99, which is the cost price of 1 liter of petrol. So the product of these two quantities is $339.5, which is the total amount that the car owner will pay if he wants to travel 2013.2 kilometer. Next, question number 6 from this exercise. 200 grams of fertilizer is required for a plot of land that has an area of 8 meters square. Now we have to find the amount of fertilizer needed for a plot of land that has an area of 14 meter square. And then in the second part, the area of land that can be fertilized by 450 gram of fertilizer. We will find the area that can be fertilized by 450 gram of fertilizer. Now you see in the question we have given some data, and that is 200 gram of fertilizer is required for 8 meter square area. Now we will find the amount of fertilizer required for 14 meter square area. So we will start from this data given in the question, and that is 8 meter square area requires fertilizer. We have given 200 grams. Now let's find the 1 meter square area requires fertilizer. Now this can be calculated if we divide 200 by 8. Now 200 and 8 both are divisible by 4. So let's divide this numerator and denominator by 4. We get the fraction 50 divided by 2. Now 50 can be divided by 2. We get 25, which is the required amount of fertilizer for 1 meter square area. We have given amount of fertilizer for 8 meter square area. We have calculated amount of fertilizer for 1 meter square area, which is 25 gram. After calculating this quantity 25 gram, now we can find the amount of fertilizer required for 14 meter square. So 14 meter square area requires fertilizer. 14 times 25. If we multiply 14 by 25, we get 350 gram, which is the amount of fertilizer required for 14 meter square area. Second part from this question, area of land that can be fertilized by 450 gram of fertilizer. Now this can be calculated by the 450 divided by 25. 450 is the given amount of fertilizer divided by 50 is the amount of fertilizer required for 1 meter square area. Now both numerator and denominator are divisible by 5. So if we divide this numerator 450 by 5, we get the quotient 90. Same as divide this 25 by 5, then we know that 5 times 5, 25. Now 90 can be divided by 5, so the quotient will be 18 meter square. Now 450 gram of fertilizer can require 450 gram of fertilizer is required for 18 meter square area.